Welcome back to Easy to Spell, where the name's easy to spell, and we still messed it up. This is where we begin every off-camera thing with David saying something off-color and horrible, uh, which we love. We love it. We can't prove it, but we love it. Welcome back, everybody. We are just coming off the final couple matches at Rep RPG's PvP League, which has been a blast. A huge shout out to Rep RPG. They've been incredible, kind of supporting us and honestly, like helping us kind of get our feet under as we get this up and going. It's been fantastic working with them. We've made a lot of awesome friends, specifically to throw out a name to them. Wicked Game RPG on Twitch. They're Wicked Game on YouTube. They're incredible. They're fantastic to play against. Hopefully to play with sometime soon. Absolutely check them out. They do a lot of charity streams. They do a lot of work. They really are something incredible. Like, it is something else to watch them. They're hilarious, incredible storytellers. I'm saying incredible a lot because it's a great adjective to describe Wicked Game.
Get a shirt made. It says incredible across the front.
Yeah, and just it'll say incredible and then like tag Wicked Game, like really nice and little next to it. We're gonna make merch for them and sell it. What else have I got? Like, comment, subscribe if you're hanging out still. Hopefully it means you like us. Let us know in the comments and by hitting that bell. Ding, ding, ding. YouTube has bells, right?
I think so. Something like that.
Yes. I think YouTube has the bells. There's too much social media stuff going on right now. I can't keep up with all of it because I'm old.
If we get 100 subscribers, we'll actually come up with a script for this opening. So
keep it under 7 minutes.
Help. Yeah. Please help us. Yeah, we need it.
This might be our best part of the whole game. So at 100 subscribers, we'll open a poll as to whether we get a script or just continue
with the ramblings.
The ramblings. Which, back to my rambling, we have to throw out our, I believe, last shout out for the night, which is to Syrinscape, because Epic Games need epic sound. You hear it in the background right now. You hear it in the background the entire time we're playing. It is fantastic. It brings another level of life to your at-home games or your online campaigns. We've appreciated their consistent not suing us and letting us use their stuff. I almost said support, but I pay them, so.
Who's supporting who, really?
Yeah, thank me for my ongoing support. But again, them for really incredible music and sounds. Which we're dropping back in. We are going to recap really quick. It's been a little bit for us since our last game, between PvP leagues and just vacations and it being hot in summer. But we're going to drop in. Last we left off, you had met with an archfey, some level of god being, based on your assumptions, to negotiate peace amongst the settlements and these arrayed Fey forces that have been harassing the settlements and causing issues to different levels since you arrived on the continent of Artas. You met with this figure named, with the moniker of the Father. He sat you down. You had a very emotional meal, literally. Drinking wines that were compromised of solidified emotion and memory. A little fun in the Feywild in the Court of Light. In which you exited. You have been given 5 days to organize, not to settle the whole issue, because even an Archfey knows that would be wild. But to gather the leaders of the 3 settlements here on Artas: Harlan's Landing, Ostromnir, and Falks. You spoke with the governor of Harlan's Landing, Renault, who, despite his recent seeming burns and injuries from an attack on his home, agreed to participate in this. You contacted via sending Ladralai, the governess of Falks, who has agreed to make her way this direction. I believe. I'm not misremembering that, right? That's... Yeah, she agreed to participate in these talks. Upon leaving Governor Renault's house, though, entering the street, you saw an older, loose cloth clothed woman, who one of your members of the party recognized. Obviously, a servant of the Nalbrand Empire, she, with hands raised, surrounded by the guards of Harlan's Landing, looked up, locked eyes with Vala, and said, "I come in peace. I mean you no harm."
We get a description of her again. She's large, right? Like she is significant.
She's well built, very lean muscle. She is unarmed. She has no weapons on her. She wears loose flowing clothes. Her silver streak, her silvery white hair, is shaved on both sides and then braided tightly to the back of her head. Go ahead and give me a perception check, anybody that really wants to. She does bear heavy chains wearing that denote the holy symbol of Skulder, the god of glory, strength, and justice, who is also the patron god of the Nalbrand Empire.
I rolled a 12 on perception.
12?
20.
Okay. Natural 20. 2.
Ooh, a 20.
So, Kaya, you notice that even though she's not armed or armored, she bears thick scars and calluses on her hands. Numerous scars from where the clothing is draping that kind of poke out that you can see, some of which seem to be carved in the shape of scales, like intentional, deliberate scars. And then her front, her canines and the teeth next to them are next to, I had my fingers in my mouth, so her teeth next to them are elongated and somewhat sharpened. Very reptilian kind of look to it.
She's kind of creepy.
That's dope.
And she's waiting, the guards all kind of waiting for somebody to give a command as you all approach. And she says, "This does not seem very hospitable. Vala, can we talk?"
Outside of the walls.
Fine by me. What I seek is not within these walls. She looks to the guards around her and she goes, "May I go?" Guards all looking. And they all, the one closest to her that she's kind of facing, just kind of looks to his compatriots and just nods. He goes, "No sudden movements." She goes, "No, I wouldn't dream of it." And she just walks back out through the open gate and stands. Once she's kind of out of the reach of the guards, she turns and walks about 20 feet away, and then turns and crosses her arms.
Did we catch a name?
No, she hasn't said the name. The only person that knows her name is Vala.
Can we remind me what her name is so that I can tell them right now?
She is
Svetla?
the will of the Valkyries.
Svetla. I kept wanting to call her Svetlana. So, Svetla. Got it. Cool. So,
I'm going to spell
let me
that
get
the
rid of
best I
Rachel and
can.
put Vala on.
Svetla.
Hey, I got it right.
There you go.
I'm gonna turn to our group and say, "This is another one of my sisters, and you do not have to accompany me to speak with her at all. And in fact, I would prefer as many of you stay out of harm's way as possible."
I'm not just going to let
Yeah.
you go out by yourself.
Yeah, we're gonna need you after this anyway, so after you.
I mean, as much as I love being inside the walls, I'm not that much of a dick.
We'll follow your lead.
Right. So I'm gonna lead everybody out the gate towards Svetla.
Okay.
And I'm gonna walk up, keeping about 20 feet away from her. And then stop.
Okay. Yeah. You go. So you're just on the outside of the gate. And as you all kind of approach, this is at least a warmer welcome than you gave to Tiara. So,
To be
thank you.
fair, this is the
Tiara
warmer
should have
welcome that
had-
she gave us.
What happened to her? Where is she?
Took care of her.
Where is the body of my sister? And you see like a
Not here.
crackling electric energy as she bites off the end of that last sentence. Sparks kind of around her hands. You have known Svetla for a while, even though most of you and the other sisters were kind of kept separate and independent from each other. And she has a reputation for being cool, calm. This is probably the most emotion you've ever seen off of her.
I was in another town. I can show you where, but I don't think I could describe it.
Did you leave her?
She chose it.
But did you leave her or did you bury her?
She's buried.
You know as well as I do, Vala, that very few of us chose this life. You're the one that chose to leave us. I understand. But I'm not concerned with bringing you home in this moment. I want to recover Tiara. Bring her back to where she belongs. You should come back with me. But I'm not so foolish to make such an attempt right now. And she looks to the three of you. Prize kind of lingering on her Relton for a moment, looking up and down.
Kaya tries to puff up a little bit.
And then also just really quick, anybody that wants to can make an intelligence check.
Killing it with a 4.
4,
9.
18.
18, okay.
Do I count? 14?
What?
Fine.
14?
18's better.
Okay,
18's better.
okay. And she's kind of waiting for a response, but
Raven,
did you?
do you think you may be able to draw a depiction of where Terra is?
Yeah, I should be able to do that. You don't think they're in danger over there, do you?
No, I don't think they would be.
May I come closer? This distance has me unease.
And I'll start with walking towards her.
The same.
I'm sorry.
follow.
Did she just call her Maya or Naya or
No. Well, maybe, I don't know.
No, she said, "May I come
May
closer?
I? Got
May I
it.
come closer?"
I was like, wait a minute.
I like that.
And as you come close, she goes, "I'm sorry. Please. I'm more upset with her choice of actions than yours. If my understanding of what happened is correct, you just defended yourselves. She was not supposed to engage you. You should know. And Vala, I understand why you left. I, beyond all of them, I think understand why you did what you did. But you still have a duty to your people. You cannot leave them leaderless, headless, and assume you have done good. We need you back. She looks at Raven. Can you tell me where you buried her?
Yes, and I'll describe outer location of Falk's.
She takes it and you kind of give her that kind of scrawled map and she nods. Thank you. Finally, Vala, a warning. If they order me to come for you, I must. But I fear that Athea took it much harder than any of the rest of us.
Who would they
She's...
send next?
I know that in Aldenstead, Eva and Anya have been stationed with me. I know not where Tala is, but she and Terra were looking for you. Athea and Victoria, they are still back in the mainland, trying to soothe with your mother what you have done.
My mother's there. She can lead.
You know the issue with that, and how she prefers to work. And that is what you'd wish. That's, if not Olin, you leave your mother in charge. If you sought to make any sort of change with your actions, that would undo all of it.
Svetla, you know me. I'm not capable of leading.
Perhaps our home has been torn apart by people who found themselves capable, and not those who found themselves good. I think for now you're safe from other sisters. This Eva and Anya are busy dealing. There has been issues in our minds in Aldenstead that they have been trying to deal with. But beyond that, that's the time you have before they come. And you know that Terra was just our scout, not one of our fighters.
Thank you for speaking with me. I was expecting much more hostility.
That's, I was worried for the same. You kind of see like another like staticky spark kind of from under her robes as she like collects herself a little bit. She goes, I am to bring Terra home. I wish you well, whatever path you take, and I hope that I am not sent for you. I may be the will, but I am far more broken than you are. And she pulls up her hood and kind of turns away from all of you. And she kind of gives one last look over her shoulder to Vala and just nods. And then she just starts to run. She makes it about 50 feet away, and then she leaps. And blue draconic wings rip from her back under those billowing clothes, and she just flies away, disappearing into the trees.
Not often I say it, but I'm glad that didn't come to blows. I mean, that was pretty
Butler
badass,
is-
right?
She can be prone to dramatics sometimes.
Held her cool as far as I could tell. And I'll resheath my sword.
Well, where were we going?
Uh,
Trying to completely just move on. Nobody asked me questions.
Yeah.
To the exiles, wasn't it?
Right.
I mean, that. Yeah, exiles. Yeah. There's just somebody that just sprouted wings and flew away. Exiles. Let's go. Yeah, exiles.
I'll look over my shoulder to make sure there was no like guards or anybody watching us when we all just talked about going to the exiles.
So looking back, you guys came about 20 feet forward. So all 4 of the guards are still like by the gate, kind of watching you guys.
Also on the
do-
inside of the gear.
Yeah,
I
they
would say
did
regardless.
not.
I wasn't trying to.
They're
hide it,
watching you
so.
guys. Yeah, they're watching you guys, but they like as you guys talk about exiles and you look back over, they have made no shift. They just look very worried that somebody from Nalbrund just flew away.
Yeah, I get that. Well, how many of you are there? I caught Victoria,
7 by my
caught
count.
Althea.
7 of us.
You want to throw some names out so we know who's coming at us next?
Hey DM, you want to help me remember these names?
I wrote them down.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. So just to
Oh,
double
okay.
check, you have the names right. You have Svetla, Athea, Eve and Anya, Eva and Anya, Victoria, and Tala.
Tala.
Which would Vala have given the titles of each of them, or do you want
Yes.
to?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think at this point,
So
she knows she's gotta start divulging.
each of these are of the Valkyrie. So Svetla is the will. Athea is the heart. Eva and Anya are each the arms. Victoria is the mind, and Tala is the voice.
And what are you?
The soul.
The
Do
head.
you remember what we talked about?
Oh,
No.
I don't remember the word.
Oh,
I
Will was
remember.
Will was spot on. It was the soul of the Valkyrie.
That was a complete pot shot right there.
My
Y'all are walking and talking, right?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
I mentioned to Raven that I'm here because I killed the king of Nalbarand, the emperor. He was my father.
And your mom's what? A bitch? Is that what I caught?
Yes. She is power hungry, angry, obsessive, and ruthless.
Well, nice to see the apple falls from far from the tree on occasion.
Take that as a compliment.
As you are walking into the forest, Raven, you feel like a pressure on your backpack all of a sudden, and look back and you see a long flicking tail where there seems to have been some sort of flying cat creature that has landed and wedged its way down into your backpack and seems to be rummaging around.
I'll just reach back and grab him by the scruff.
Ah.
All right. Listen. There's dinner time when there's dinner time. Behave. And I'll grab a little bit of ration and feed it to him and then set him down.
Sits, chews for a minute, and then just kind of continues walking, following just a few feet behind you.
Oh, you're so cute.
At some point when we're not, nobody's talking and we're all, just making our way to wherever we're going, Orelton's going to get out the mace and just, swing it, get a feel for it, and
Okay.
just idly whipping it back and forth.
Cool. Continuing on, y'all know from the previous times you've been this way, you're looking at least 2 days' journey to get to the camp, or about 2 days' journey to get to the camp. So let's go. You'll have to make camp at least one time.
Okay, so
Near Pecan? Can we
on-
make camp near Pecan?
Actually, yeah, that's okay.
That should actually probably be okay. Let me pull up. Just looking at maps.
isn't that really close to where one of the trails we found anyway?
Yeah, it should be right before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it actually was. So,
I remembered a thing.
yeah. So you should be able to pretty easily, especially with Raven leading the way. Won't even need a survival check, and because you actually have it mapped. Can you make your way and find that small grove with a large ironwood tree? And you step forward. Just out of, I can't remember because I know you unattuned to it. Do you still have the Faybreaker Greatsword on your back?
Yeah, it's got to be strapped to me.
Yeah.
Actually, we have a bag of holding, don't we?
Yeah, didn't we
No
put it in
reason
the
for it
bag
to not
of
be
holding?
in there.
I
Yeah.
thought we put it in the bag of holding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
Either way
That
is
would make more
fine.
sense.
It only really becomes an issue if you're attuned to it. So I just wanted to make sure I knew.
Oh God, going to Pecan attuned to that? Oh no.
a hardcore fuck up right there.
Will caught it after he first attuned to it. You guys made your way back, and Rachel kept going, "Let's go see Pecan," and Will was going,
No.
No, anything but that.
No, sorry, I
No.
love Pecan.
No sure way to, make sure this de-escalates into a PvP brawl.
Yeah.
Then,
Let's fight the whole forest. It'll be fine.
you guys kind of settle. You find, and initially she doesn't come out. Very shy. But then, kind of as the sun begins to set, and you guys kind of finish setting up your camp. Vala, you looking around and waiting, just rushing from the trunk of the tree, just phasing out of it. You Pecan, and she goes, "Vala, you're back!" And she runs out and just tackles you. This is the first time you've been in full contact with her. She has steel hard skin, as though her flesh is made of the same thing the ironwood tree is. It is like being hit firmly with a cinder block. As she just crashes into you and gives you a big locking hug. I do need the men of the group to make a charisma saving throw.
Oh,
Is this
Say
against being
goodnight.
charmed?
Yes, so you
Okay, I
either
have
are
advantage.
immune or have advantage.
Doesn't matter. Rolled the same thing, and it's not great.
I have a +7 and I rolled a 10. Like with the +7, it's a
With
10.
the +7.
Yeah,
I rolled a 17 plus 3.
17
Dang
plus
it, I
3
was
is-
hoping all of you were just enamored.
So Will is fine. Raven and Kaya both just, you have this compulsion to protect her from harm. You're not, bound to her in any way. Just you are compelled to protect her. But
Aurelm still kind of like looks a little bashful when he's like, "Pecan, good to see you again."
nods at you, and she kind of looks. And this is, I believe, Kaya and Raven's first time actually seeing Pecan.
I saw her, but we didn't have any interaction.
Oh yeah. But she kind of pulls back from Vala and just kind of smiles at you. Welcome back.
How you been?
It's been so. I'm good. I'm good. And she kind of gestures for Kaya and Raven to come hug her as well.
I walk over and give her a hug.
She gives you a big hug.
I
Was it-
would.
You don't have to. You are not compelled to. You're compelled to protect her. You're not fully charmed.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think you were real.
Of course, I'm really real silly. And then she like walks forward and pulls you into a big hug as well. And similarly to how when people that weren't charmed by her or female, she does seem a little shy now of Aurelton, where previously she had been closer. She avoids catching your gaze if you're looking towards her.
Aurelm's still gonna like, if she'll let him just like pet, and that's
She
it.
kind of leans into it a little bit, but not nearly the warm, not the warm embrace of somebody that's magically inclined to not hurt her.
Sure.
I didn't get a chance to tell you thank you for those berries last time.
That's just wanted to thank you for being courteous of the grove. Welcome back. It's been some time. What brings you here? Alessandra says you met Father.
We did.
Yes.
It'll
We
be a good time.
are trying to make this world safer for you.
Appreciate that. That's all he wants as well. So I'm sure you got along. Are you going to be making a fire tonight?
If you would prefer not, we won't. But
You
it
can.
is a comfort for
but
us.
You can, just away from my tree, please. Not so close.
Of course.
But do you want more berries?
I mean, I'm not going to turn him down.
Yeah,
You're
and
quite lovely.
and she's going to magically summon each of you. She summons fucking good berry spell.
Good berries.
It'll last until a long rest, right?
Yeah, they last a while. So she set magics up enough berries to make like a small light meal. And she as you eat, she walks up to you and holds out her hands for you to cup your hands. She goes, and as she kind of opens them from the bottom, just a small handful of berries falls out of her hand, and she just does that to each of you. Yep. She feeds. That's. Do you all have a camp in the Pecan Grove?
Ooh.
How many good berries do we each get?
8. We'll say
Eight,
eight
okay.
each.
They're gone by tomorrow morning anyway, so.
Yeah, they don't really.
Oh yeah. Last, I forgot.
Yeah, it just gets rid of the need for anybody to forage or anything. She just feeds you. Yeah, I suppose, is there any role-playing moments you guys wanted to get, like, before going to bed?
Yeah. Yep. So while we're setting up camp, Kaya's going to kind of beat around the bush, and then he's eventually going to come out with it just to everyone that's there. Did Renault seem a little off to you guys?
Always.
But, I mean, more than normal. I don't know.
I mean, he
There's
was
something.
pretty beat up, right?
Well, right, but there's. Can't put my finger on it, but he almost changed. Like, the best way I can put it is he now seems like he's more familiar. I don't. That's the best way I can put it.
Like you know him better now, or
Not that I know him better, but aside from our previous encounters with him, like I know him from somewhere else. He seems different. I mean, obviously I know physically he's different, but
He did pay a lot of attention to you.
and that's kind of what I'm getting at.
yeah, that's right. He was eyeballing you, kind of awkward, wasn't he?
Where might you have possibly known him from?
I mean, the faintest clue, unless he's been to prison.
He is here.
Doesn't seem like someone who's been to prison, and I don't know why he'd be in a position of power at that.
You also don't quite seem like somebody who would have been to prison.
Well,
So I'm gonna really quick. Anybody that wants to can make a retroactive insight check, thinking about back to your last interactions with Renault and how he's acting.
I'm assuming aside from me, correct?
I will let you make one as well. Make yours a disadvantage because you only succeeded a certain amount before.
Okay.
I'll let you know the DC right now, based on an opposed roll, is 26.
I
Yeah,
thought
oh,
I did
yeah.
great. So
No way I could even get there.
Nope.
Okay. And so, him seeming odd, anything like that, I will not give you any concrete information regarding that.
Fair enough. I mean,
I don't know.
as far as myself goes, I mean, I hide my, I guess, meager and attitude well. I guess I don't know where I'm going with this. This is kind of awkward.
You don't seem very violent.
Yeah, how'd you end up in prison anyway?
I told you, I killed someone.
But who? You don't just end up in prison for killing somebody who doesn't matter.
We're doing this now, are we? Aren't you a leader of somewhere?
I think we've already talked about that today.
Right, but why'd you kill your dad?
You are trying to change topics.
Almost
We can discuss
successfully,
this
might I add.
after.
Look, I'm not gonna give you all the details, but just because I don't, it's in the past. It's where it's at. I don't expect it to go anywhere else. But yeah. Back when I was younger, I got into a bit of trouble. obviously. And it came down to the point to where I was just so overwhelmed. The stress of life where I was at. And something in me clicked. And I ended up killing someone.
Do you think that's going to come back and get you? Is that why you're looking for that guy?
I'm just trying to leave it where it's at. Why I'm looking for Melrose? Melrose is more of a favor to someone who saved my life.
Revenge favor?
Revenge favor? You could call it that. I mean, it depends on your definition of revenge. But along the lines of, he was, myself can't validate if he was lying or not, but I trust him enough to believe he wasn't. He was wrongfully put in prison, and that's why I'm looking for Melrose.
So Melrose would be the reason why he was wrongfully put in prison.
Correct.
Guy you killed.
Seems like a... Go ahead.
Guy you killed have a name?
I'm sure he did. I didn't ask.
So you didn't know him?
Not when I killed him.
Roll an insight check.
You absolutely can roll an insight
I
check.
would like
David.
that to do
Yeah,
that
I was gonna say, how when I
David, you get
knew
a-
him. What
your
is that?
Your opposed check, and just let us know if anybody beats you.
I had an 18.
17.
There's definitely more to it. Both of you get that. I rolled a 17 as well. So,
Well, I, for one, know there's a time for secrets to be let out of the bag and a time for them to be kept. So, as long as it doesn't bite me in the ass.
Sorry, two people succeeded. David, I'm going to clarify your statement a little bit. There's more to it, and there are aspects that are blatant lies.
Okay.
That's when you ask, did you know him, and did he have a name?
So here's the thing: did you know him?
That
that's
like a meta contextual type thing.
Alright.
Those are.
You didn't know his personality anymore. He wasn't the
Yeah.
person you knew before. That's what I'm guessing.
You're not gonna semantic your way around that, David.
Come on. Come
I was
on.
like, but this is fun being hidden.
It was close. I almost let that go, but I'm like, two people beat you. Yeah, okay. Sorry.
Not by much, and we tied.
Not
Only
by
one
much.
person
Yeah,
beat me.
So okay, so
It's okay. It's okay. It's all good.
yeah, that's,
So,
I didn't want to give a bunch of more actionable information, but
so patricide, huh? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Sorry, Patch, what?
Patricide means killing your father.
So immediately, like, there's like a look of like, I'm sorry, what? And then he starts to
No,
realize
look
you're
at
talking
Vala.
to Vala.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. father was trying to start a war so that he could grab land from the other countries. And when I found out what he was doing, I tried to confront him, and it went out of hand. And I had to find some way to stop him.
Who was he trying to take land from?
Anybody and everybody if I know Nalburn.
Time out, what are the name of the other two countries?
Ostermir and the Feldenwaith.
Ostermir and Feldman.
And then there's the city-states. Gormund, Lion's
Thank you.
Fall, Tarankel. A couple others. Ain't that care.
You hit that spot on everywhere. More specifically, DM, help me, please.
More specific.
More
How?
specifically, the two.
So specifically, he is trying to destabilize the power balance that keeps Nalbrand at bay between Feldenwaith and Ostermir. But he specifically would want to move into Ostermir, which is directly south via the peninsula.
Yes, I explain all of that because Vala understands that.
Because he
Rachel
doesn't have to
can't get
cross
the
any
names
water.
in her head.
Yeah.
Is the idea. He doesn't have to cross water to get into Ostromir.
Yeah.
And most people would be aware the way that the power balance works back on the main continent is Ostermir and Feldenwaith are constantly kind of at odds, but they're sort of unified by Nalbrand. Within the last, like, what was that?
The enemy of my enemy type of thing. Like, we don't really like each other, but Nalbrand's a big fuck, and we got to hold together to keep him at bay.
Exactly. And so Nalbrand can't just move on Ostromir because the Feldenwaith will help them to prevent Nalbrand from gaining more power. About 40, 50 years ago, when Baldwin and Sigrid united like the northern clans into an empire and like created the Nalbrand Empire, is when a lot of independent city-states and different smaller kingdoms like unified to form the kingdoms of Ostromir and Feldenwaith to prevent like this very imperial new empire from just like rolling through and taking over everybody one by one, as they did in the entire northern half of the continent, with one remaining like independent party, the Engthek Care, which is the nomadic barbarian tribes that just couldn't be conquered based on them just not having like a set location. They were able to hold out, but that's the power dynamic and the political thing going on and back where y'all are from.
So while that's kind of going on, as she's explaining, like Kaya's gonna kind of side eye over to Ven and just kind of see how he's taking it with this whole reaction of family shouldn't kill family shit.
Raven is just gonna stay super quiet.
That's
What I was
That's a lot to
afraid
take in.
of. It's okay.
that's a lot to take in.
Try being in the middle of it.
And I do want to double check because Rachel, you asked me, you said Vala described it. Did Vala describe the details of the plan or just kind of the overview, like he's trying to destabilize like the peace between?
Just okay.
We're talking high level stuff, or we're talking nitty gritty.
Here, let me say it in Rachel because I can't say it in character. That's all right with you guys. So, he was trying to destabilize the two countries by messing with their um oh my gosh, what are they called?
The independent city states, or what? What do you, the
Yeah. No,
individuals,
they're trying to mess with the individuals who try to make peace or try to
the
have talks. They're
Emissaries?
emissaries?
emissaries, yeah,
Ambassadors? Yeah.
with the emissaries and ambassadors between the different countries. Um, he,
Like political subterfuge.
yeah, essentially by ensuring that their messages never received never received in their locations, in their intended location.
So he was intercepting emissaries and ambassadors and political communications.
Hmm.
And that's what Raven was assuming was being said, and he is super quiet now.
That's why it was important to get the clarification of, did Vala divulge a lot of
Yes,
information or a little information?
she just gave it all now. There it is, out on the table. Feel
So
free to stab me in the middle of my sleep.
I'm gonna catch some sleep if you guys don't mind.
Sure.
And I'm gonna get up and not go to my bedroll, but walk further in, just out of sight, and
Oh,
make camp there myself.
okay.
Well, that's huh. Like, how far did you go?
Me?
I would say probably
Yeah,
about
yeah.
30 feet or so to,
Yeah.
So not terribly far, but
yeah,
No,
like
but
within shouting distance.
yeah, like clearly I didn't go to my bedroll. Like I guess that's the most important thing.
well, that was kind of my fault for bringing that up, but I appreciate you coming out with it. Kind of awkwardly stand there, like, don't know what to say. So I'm gonna.
I
Bedtime then?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Night, Vala. And
no.
Orelton will go to his bedroll and make look like he's going to bed and wait probably 2 or 3 hours and then get up and go into the forest in the opposite direction that Raven went.
Okay.
And I'm going to go farther in, probably, let's say 120 feet. And I'm going to take my sword and my mace. And I will take my mace and lay it down in front of my knees. And I'll kneel on the ground, almost monk style, with my hands flat on my thighs, close my eyes, and try to induce some form of meditation to list.
Okay.
If I can induce a vision, great. If I can't, after about 30 minutes or so, I'll just do a prayer in my head.
Okay. Okay, so you're doing that. What is Kai doing?
He's at his bedroll, picking at some berries and just kind of looking around awkward, playing with his necklace a little bit, and then after playing with his necklace, he's gonna take it off, look at it, and kind of just essentially pick up things and see if he can add them to it. And I mean, that's about it. Just try to make it a
Yeah.
little bit stronger, just kind of fiddle with stuff, and then
Oh,
eventually kind of probably pass out. So
okay. Vala?
Oh man. Vala is Vala's gonna go say goodnight to Pecan and then go to bed for a while until it would be about her time for watch.
Okay. And you go say goodbye to Pecan. You all seem much sadder than the last time you were here. If you sleep, Father has told the forest of you, and that for 5 days you're to be left alone. So I'll watch out for other people, but you can rest in peace at least a little bit. The beasts of the forest will cause you no harm tonight.
Thank you, Pecan. I fear our monsters are not those of the forest, but those of the mine.
She gives you just another big cinder block hug, pulls you close,
Oh,
and lets you go, and just kind of gives you a knowing look, and then just kind of sits where she can keep watch over your camp.
love Pecan so much. I'm gonna lay down.
Okay, so that Raven, you have, I imagine, some difficulty falling asleep, but
Yeah.
you
Yeah, a
went
little bit.
off to bed. Did that? Are you doing anything else, or like you literally just went away
No,
to go to
just
bed?
spending some time to
Um,
myself.
Okay, Orelton, as you kind of settle into your meditation, 2 or 3 minutes go by, and you shuffle. Fucking monks don't know what they're talking about. Must be doing this wrong.
Oh
Um,
shit.
you stretch, settle back in. You kind of sort of look up and look around, and just sitting in front of you, knees pulled to her chest, you see the still like pallid, emaciated like face of the young woman that you recognize now to be List. She looks at you and looks, I can't be far from you. I see you found a new toy. And she reaches out and kind of lays her hand on the mace. And it just is kind of like running her fingers across the chain.
I don't usually say this often, but I believe I've made a mistake. I I came to this continent uh running from what I thought was you and not the people that I should have been running from. And I guess that kind of led to our first interaction over here. Um I I would like to come back into your service, but I can't do it the way I was doing it before. I
She stops brushing the chain, and she looks at you and she goes, and suddenly she seems already like a little healthier. The eyes are a little less sunken. She still looks sickly and everything, but she goes, sometimes the sweetest lies are those we tell ourselves. What would you change?
uh, I I can't go back to civilization, to the large amounts of people. Uh, Coming out here in the wilderness has changed me, I guess. So if I'm to come back into your service, allow me to do it in the way that I've done so far. Maybe a little more reckless, but I promise to keep and, in some cases, perpetuate the secrets that you guard.
I will gladly accept willing service over forced. And you see she fills a little bit into her robes, like being sustained. Give me a religion check if you'd like, but
She
I will
22.
22. As above, so below. That's you willingly offering this, as opposed to her being like, I'll punish you if you don't help me, has given her so much more sustenance than what she had just binding herself to you. She breathes. Thank you.
I mean,
As
don't get it twisted. We're not 100% you and me, but I realize all the things I had thought you had done wrong were of my own construct. The lies we tell ourselves, as you say.
I understand, and I do not presume you to be some first priest of list.
But
It's a start for both of us, I think.
And these little nuggets of knowledge in this, what was it they called it, the spear the governess of Fox had. There's
shit.
you know what I'm talking about?
Are you talking about the shards?
Shards, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
The nuggets of knowledge that are contained in these shards, probably enough to sustain you for a while, I imagine.
They would. That's the greater the secret sworn to me, the more power I can reclaim. It's why my two brothers of the Oath Pact seek them.
Do I know who her brothers are?
Yeah, actually, I'll go with your 22. The two other, especially when she says Oath Pact, and when she says brothers, it's not in the familial way.
Right.
It's more of the bonding of forgotten gods that that have sustained each other. Shaith and Haran. Shaith is the god of pain, despair, and hopelessness. He's the tortured god. His symbol is a heart wrapped in chains. And Haran, the god of monsters, hunger, and darkness. He's known as the starving. And his symbol is 7 teeth and a ring. And these gods, so two gods that are not worshipped much because of their nature. Like nobody wants to worship. Very few people want to worship pain and hunger. The list kind of is fallen and is usually associated with them being the goddess of secrets and lies and hidden things. None of them are inherently evil, but do tend to attract evil followers just because of their domains.
Sure.
These are her brothers in the Oath Pact. Or the Pact Sworn, sorry.
Oh, I wrote that down wrong.
No, I said it wrong the entire time. Oath Pact is from some other property.
And what did she say about them?
The shard's ability to kind of perpetuate gods outside of worship is why they're being sought.
Wow. So you're telling me there's others like me out there doing the exact same thing I'm doing.
I would say you're a unique circumstance. I believe you've had encounters with some of their followers already. The Knight's Eye. That's their symbol. They've conscripted even mine into its amalgamation. But the eye wrapped in chains, surrounded by 7 teeth, is their mark of fealty to the three of us, that they do not truly worship me.
Just the Pact Sworn.
Just the Pact Sworn itself. I was not able to gain anything from even the limited worship I would have from the Pact Sworn because I do not approve of their actions. They do not follow me. They follow their own desires.
Well, let's see if we can't Either restore or keep a few secrets, huh? And I'll reach out for I'll actually grab the head of the mace and let the handle come up.
Okay.
And I don't know if I can attune right there, but
we'll say in this moment, in the physical presence of your god, your attunement is instant. The holes around the sensor, the devotee's sensor, as it were, shift and pull apart, and have little concentric rings like inlaid in them that become eyes. The chain kind of elongating, so the loops become that. We'll say there's kind of a hook off of the end that if you're holding it, it looks like a little question mark.
very cool.
And yeah, it goes from being just a devotee sensor to the magical item Truths and Lies, which we've added.
Right. Great. And I imagine everything else fades and I find myself back in the forest. Or I guess I was in the forest, but I find myself alone.
She is gone. Oddly enough, there are 2 indents in the ground where she was kneeling. Like,
as I stand up, I will make an arc with my foot to cover them up. So that it was.
Thought you were making a smiley face.
No, I just don't. Just cover up the information. No one knows she was there.
Okay. Raven, you do not sleep well tonight. That's
I
just
kind of figured.
thoughts. Just that constant, just you're following threads. You're up, but you do have a fitful sleep. Vala, I imagine a similar situation to you. Just not particularly well rested. Kaya, you fall asleep right away, out, like Kaya does.
Weird.
Kaya, you wake up kind of in the morning and see kind of probably Raven is kind of a thinner figure, kind of leaning over the fire, and cooking something. It smells breakfasty.
All right. So then, what do we got for breakfast?
He turns around and you see a familiar face that just collapses in on itself, turning to dust, blowing away. It's not Raven. I want to make sure that's clear to you.
Yeah.
Blows away, and as the ash and dust, as the figure kind of clouds up, it disperses, and behind it, what was kind of obscured for a moment, there's a giant black wolf with blue eyes that walks forward, and as you're kind of like sitting up, places its paw on your chest, pushing you back to the ground. And even as it pushes you down, the paw shifts to a giant clawed hand. The figure enlarges, lengthens. The snout of the wolf pulls back into like a cave in skull face. The blue eyes with giant curling horns where the ears were pulling back. Smoke pulling back from it. And it says something. I don't suppose you speak. I'm going to say. You don't speak whatever language this is. This is not even. It's just gibberish. But as the language washes over you, just hear in your mind, you will be ready. And you feel a burning cold on your chest. And you wake up.
Immediately, just up in a panic. No scream this time, but just a lot of heavy breathing and kind of quick look around, grabbing at the mark.
It feels.
I guess it's this side.
Yeah, it feels cold, like icy to the touch. Like you have a little bit of condensation from sleeping on the ground kind of on you, and the portion of your shirt that's just a little wet is like frozen solid.
I imagine then the as I breathe, I'm getting the
Just
the
puffs
vapor
of
and
vapor that quickly fades. Your body heat alone warms up and melts the ice. Your breath kind of returns to normal.
just kind of sits there for a moment, taking a lot of deep breaths. About, do I have an idea of if is it still super dark out? Is it starting to get light?
It is starting to like lighten up. Yeah, it's not morning yet by any means, but you can kind of tell on the horizon that the sunlight is creeping up.
Then at that point, he's probably just gonna get up, roll up his bag, and fiddle with the fire a little bit so it gets just a little bit lighter.
Mm.
And then he's gonna go on just I guess like more like a walk around the perimeter.
Yeah. And then I guess slowly, one by one. Who wants to wake up next?
I'll wake up.
There you go. Raven, let's see you wake up to Kaya kind of walking through the outskirts of camp. Giving one's over.
I'll just nod at him and let him continue on his path. And I'll head off and try to get some food together for the day.
Okay. Vala or Elton, which of you would like to wake up next?
I'll wake up next.
Perfect. Anything you want to do?
And you said the fire's still burning? Bauer was fiddling with it?
Yeah,
Bauer got it
I would
going again.
Yeah.
Okay. I will immediately go right over to the fire, warm myself up, and bust out a ration, and start heating it up.
There you go. And Vala, last to awaken.
I was just gonna wake up, look around, and see if she can find Raven. Just make sure he's okay. Is he anywhere near?
No, because you went off hunting. If you want to go looking for him,
Yeah,
that's
so
you can
not
make a
gonna
survival.
go looking, but just
Yeah.
looking around for him, and then keeping an eye out, hoping he comes back, and noticing
We'll say-
Kaya's gone, and going, "Where the fuck is everybody?"
Yeah, it doesn't take long for you to forage. Maybe half an hour to get enough just for breakfast going. Unless you'd like to take longer out in the woods.
No. I'll just come back with all the foraging and hand it out to everybody. Say, all right, we're down a day. We should get going.
I didn't realize you were getting food for us. I just ate.
Well, you can hold on to that.
Thanks. Anybody seen Bauer?
He was walking the perimeter a little bit ago. He should be back soon.
All right. Guess we wait for him and then we can take off. I'll start getting my stuff together.
Yeah, I mean he's just gonna take his walk, and eventually at some point he's lost in his own thought, and at some point he kind of realizes it's getting kind of late in the morning, and kind of goes back towards camp to see everyone awake and pretty much ready to go. And
While he's still
gonna
out,
head back.
Vala's gonna make the food that Raven brought into like a transportable fashion for Kaya when he gets back. So like a burrito or something like that he can eat on the road.
Yeah, you had some large mushroom caps, since you're able to like fashion that into a little walking bowl.
Like a bowl.
Yeah,
Mushrooms? Oh, yeah.
big stuffed mortar mushrooms. Pecan gives each of you this time a hug, a little bit more time in proximity. It's goodbye. Come back. You're welcome to Camp My Grove whenever you'd like. Be safe and good luck.
Thanks, Pecan.
We love you.
As we're starting to walk. How's Bauer look?
Quiet. Unusually quiet.
Does he still look sweaty?
That's
Didn't you say
Probably
sweaty, or was
he
was
was
riding
like,
it?
well, it was like it was
Well, it was frozen.
it was like sort of frozen. So yeah, he's probably all a little wet
Mhm.
still. But he was up first and has been walking around for a little bit, so probably dried off. So not super, just restless, just very quiet and
And
ponderous.
you did not sleep well, did you?
not this time. Had another night terror. Had him for a while.
Do we know about the first time with the wolf? Big Blue Eyes?
I
Yeah,
don't
we
know
were
about
all
the
awake for
wolf.
that.
Not necessarily the wolf, but you guys did see the wolf physically there and go into my tattoo, and that's the second time you looked at it to get the number.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's when we noticed the number changed.
Right.
Well, that's when you noticed the number changed. But yeah, he doesn't particularly go into it. Just
All right.
leaves
Well,
it as it is.
sorry about your bad dream, I guess, and I'll slap you on the shoulder and keep walking.
You always know what to say to cheer me up.
Y'all. Good. Rachel? Vala?
So Vala's gonna try to walk close to Raven and far enough away from everyone else.
Which is easy enough because you notice Raven is in a very business mindset right now.
So off scouting like 20
So-
feet in the lead kind of deal. So yeah, Vala, you hustle to catch up and
Raven,
Yeah.
can I just want to say I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Are you alright?
Yeah. We just gotta go fast.
Alright. Gonna take the hint. Don't want to talk. Fall
Right.
back.
so traveling through the rest of the day, you will make it to the camp by nightfall, by tonight. Let's take like a 5-minute break. We just went through a lot of heavy role playing,
Yeah.
a lot of heavy stuff. So everybody go get some water, pee, take a short break. We'll be right back.
Break.
Yeah.
And welcome back. As we had our break, we are all peed and watered, unrelated to each other. And could go back into it. Y'all are making your way pretty safely, learning from Pecan that you have the mark of the Father upon you, so the beasts of the forest, beasts and spirits of the forest are leaving you alone. So a decent bit of role play just went on, so I don't know what else there could be really to talk about, but you're welcome to as you walk. But the majority of the rest of the day goes by until the sun begins to set. You find the animal path that becomes a little bit better trodden as you kind of proceed down it. You find another couple like notes. Some of these look older. The food in the little bag is decaying somewhat, with the dagger holding it to the tree, giving with a kind of rotten note that you can tell at some point was put there to give directions to Nikolai's camp. There's another couple that you see varying ages. It looks like pretty regularly. Some just comes out, slaps out a, "Hey, this is how you make it to us." We were able to follow the path. As the sun begins to set, you find yourself entering a small valley between two hills that kind of has sprung up. Proceeding into it, there's it kind of going up. There's a small mountain that begins building up in the distance. Up against the cliff, wrapping around, there is a fence that looks like it has been constructed out of like dead wood, rocks, old logs bound together with old vines and things like that. Just a very natural looking, in line with what you've learned about the forest itself, is using what's available and not like tearing up the forest to build your stuff. Around the outside of the wall, there is a 10-foot trench that's dug, and as you see it, there are piles of just dead sticks, rocks. More again, a very natural looking trap. The rocks have been like broken off into jagged edges. The sticks have all kind of been sharpened as they've been stuck into the bottom, creating this hazard. You approach, and about 10 feet from the small constructed bridge that goes over the trench, there's somebody that's holding a torch. They kind of hold up their hand, and in the light you see a human face, kind of a middle-aged man with a brand on his forearm that looks to only be maybe a few weeks old. You recognize Elrond, the gentleman that was branded and cast out of Harlan's Landing relatively recently. Kind of holds up and he's peering into the darkness as y'all approach. Wait. Nice. He puts the torch into a sconce and like is trying to like move it into the light. Who goes there?
We are friends of Mythilai.
Yes. Right. Approach. He levels in his other hand, which seems to be much healthier, a spear at you.
And I'm going to look back at everybody and say, if you have your weapon out, you need to put it away now. And I'm going to make sure my bow is on my back.
Mace on hip.
And they probably can't see me right now, I'm assuming, unless it's light enough for them to see
As you approach kind of towards where his torch is lit, you see he kind of startles as you just kind of form out of the darkness. And it's, you're one of those folks that, he points at Kaya as you walk forward and he goes, you're the one that, like, you broke the lock. You set me free and helped me get away. That's helped me make it, I guess. That's, no, you for Mythilai told us that you'd be coming. That's she said it would be a little while ago, but hey, this way. And he kind of turns and just sort of flustered and a little confused, like leads back into the camp. And as you walk into the camp, there are a few tents. Not a ton of people here. But within this like constructed defense, you see there is one tent kind of set kind of close to the base of what is a bright white tree. As you are walking, and it's towards this tree that he's leading you. All the people in the camp, all turning. They didn't banish 4 people at once, since they've never done that. That's Renault's got too much power on his side. Just shit talking as you guys go through, everybody kind of being confused. Leading you to this large open-faced tent at the base of the white tree. The front of it is open, and there's a small desk, and Mythilai is like leaning on it, going over some papers and maps. Around the tree and the tent itself, there is a giant hand, like stone fingers of a massive statue that seems to be kind of buried in the earth, that is just kind of half curling around the entire thing, as if it was coming out of the ground. The tree is planted in the center of the palm. and the grass and everything as you get closer to the tree goes from being the green that grass is to like a deep blue color. Obvious, a little bit of Fey influence here. And Mithlai looks up as you all approach. That took you all a lot longer than I expected. And she just stands up.
We had a few
Well,
hiccups along the way.
I've heard you lot have been busy. Welcome to our humble home. That's... What can I do for you?
As we understand it, there's definitely some tensions between the Fae and Harlan's Landing in particular.
Some tensions, right, yeah. And not just Harlan's Landing. There's folks at Folks, I think, are much worse. Or, not Folks, Aldenstead.
Aldenstead.
I got real
much
confused
worse.
for a second.
I did too, yeah, that was...
Yeah, I was like,
my
wait.
brain said that was not correct.
Doesn't compute.
Right.
Yeah, those folks at Aldenstead are much worse than all of you, what with their operations. But you say that's everything must burn, as they say.
We feel we've made some progress, or attempting to make some progress to make changes here.
Right, and is Renault still in charge at Harlan's Landing?
As for now, but he has agreed to meet with Father.
Honestly, I don't care who he agrees to meet with. If he's the one in charge, that's... I am allied with Father, and we work with his rules, but I'm beholden to the Tao. And he's been given free reign. Sorry, I lost music. I'm just trying to get that back started again.
You're getting no worries.
We're just gonna go.
Yeah,
We'll go back to nighttime forest sounds. But the Tao's been given not necessarily permission, but he acts kind of independently. His goal is to destroy and enslave anyone who survives. And I'm much more in favor of his plan. I don't think Renault, I don't think...
You would destroy all of the settlement just to get back at Renault?
Well, honestly, it's not so much that I would prefer to destroy all the settlements to get back at Renault. He's my end goal. I'm sworn to the Tao. Magically, might I add. I don't get much of a say in this. And his goal is to destroy the settlements and enslave the survivors. He's fine with the settlements being there, but humans can't be trusted to... Not just humans, elves, dwarves especially, tieflings, any of the combined mortal races can't really be trusted to uphold any bargain that you might make with Father for any amount of time. We just give you the chance to gain strength, entrench yourselves further until you feel confident that you can get away with more again.
You say we. What does that make you?
Magically enthralled to a magical elemental spirit, for one, so enslaved.
What happened? What were you before?
I was a settler. I came here to do what everybody's doing, make a new life and everything. Renault cast me out, saw me to the darkest portion of my life that I've ever seen. The Tao saved me. I'm sorry, this is coming off a little weird. I happily serve the Tao, even if it is magically enforced. These settlements are going to destroy this land eventually. Whether or not they agree to not do so for 10, 20, 50 years, they'll betray them.
Would you not believe
Everyone here
that?
in this town.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Would you not believe that people can change? I mean, seems that you've found a liking with the Tao. Does it require to be enslaved?
That's the Tao's condition. He lets you live, and that is the wish he grants you, and you grant his whim. I likely would have eventually been corrupted the same as anyone else coming to this. There's so much this land offers, and without limits, enforced limits upon the people that come here, this land will be destroyed. The father, for all
Enslavement
his
is the preferred enforcement?
enslavement, maybe I used the wrong term. Magically enforced servitude? Is that more palatable? That's people come here and can
Enslavement.
be given a better life. You can live peacefully within and with the forest. And I think that giving up your freedom to act against the forest is a good compromise. It's kind of what you say you're wanting to seek anyway, is to live side by side with nature, live peacefully.
I'd rather do it of my own fruition.
And if not you, then your children or your children's children will come to see it in a different light. And eventually, this land will be destroyed.
It'll regrow. Just like everything else.
It won't, though. The ironwood trees that are being broken, those spirits don't come back.
So, just because they're spirits, they deserve to not die? That sounds like torment to me. A life without death? Always being living?
Can die naturally. It's like if, in this argument, it's fine for me to stab you right now in the chest. Is it all right? And she reaches behind and pulls out a dagger and goes, is it all right for me to stab you right now in the chest?
I'd prefer if you didn't. But I am trespassing.
You're not trespassing. You've been invited here.
Doesn't seem like a very warm welcome, but
Threats
of being stabbed in the chest. I mean,
it was I think a valid response to your argument about not being killed being equated with a tormented life with no end.
Right. But
death and being killed are different things.
Right. But I mean, I'm not defending Renault or anything he's done or anything like that. My point is, I don't feel like just the ultimate destruction, because what's going to happen with the next set of people that come through? Because there will be more. Eventually, someone will.
Is the beauty of the Tao's plan. It's not the father is a fan of his ultimatums. It's live in peace or die. The Tao has a little bit more tact to it. You're welcome to live here. You and all generations that follow you are bound to a magical contract. That way, you have to abide by the laws of the forest, and we build our forces to stand against those that come here in the future, like you said.
Okay, and then what happens when the Tao gets greedy and the tables turn and it spreads to the other side?
So when the
Tao has an army,
right,
and forces people across the ocean to take over what's been built there.
So your argument is because the potential of him doing it to somebody else means that it's fine for him to do it to them.
No, I'm just saying there's two sides to every coin.
He doesn't get an army if you all stop coming here.
Listen, I don't want to put the kibosh on y'all's highly intellectual argument here, but I think we came here to see whether or not you would be interested in attending a meeting between Father and the rest of these settlements. And that sounds like a hard no, or am I missing something?
Oh, I thought you were just telling me that things were going to be fine. I would love to go to a meeting with the Father and the rest of the.
That was what we were doing here, right?
Mind
look
you,
at the
The
rest.
stipulation
a
of
peaceful
that
meeting.
was that all non-peaceful or combative attacks were to cease for the duration of from now until the end of the meeting, till things have been settled, words have been spoken, and decisions made.
That's the 5 days we're talking about.
Yeah. Which
So
we're,
we're not inviting these guys to a meeting.
well, we are now.
Well,
That's,
I-
can you vouch for my safety if I pledge not to intrude upon the safety of others in attendance?
I mean,
it's
I
going to
can't
be.
personally, no.
I mean, it's going to be in Father's realm, in the Feywild. So, I mean, the Father will. I mean, as you said, it is his side. Have peace or die. So,
Well, if I'm invited and my safety is assured, then I see no reason why I shouldn't attend. Even if I can't hit him, it'll give me a chance to look Renault in his stupid face again.
you might be pleased it's not the same as it was.
Oh, good. Did one of you rearrange it for him?
No.
As much as I would have loved to, no.
You said in 5 days?
Well,
Three.
3
Three
now.
now.
3 days now? Right. That's after, yeah. Let me think on it. You're welcome to stay within the walls of our camp, and I'll let you know in the morning. Anybody that wants to can make a perception check, by the way, since you're inside our tent.
And rolled a 19 for an 18.
22.
18?
3 for a 10.
And
Okay, 18 to 22 will both get this. She has a series of notes and stuff that are like letters that are open on her desk that kind of looking over them seem to be like nonsense. They're like letters from just random people just saying like, hi, how are you, recipes and everything. It clicks that these are probably encoded like in ciphers. And then there is a large map on her desk. It shows the locations of the 3 settlements. With an 18, you notice there are a couple other like pinned notes that show like drop sites and meetup points that look like for scouts. Sorry, I had one other one. The 22. There is a small circled point northeast of where you're at currently, and it just says spring.
Who got that 22?
I did.
Raven.
that was.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just says spring. But, Jason, I was very aggressive when you came in. I misinterpreted, I think, your intents. I will go to the meeting. I will extend an invitation to the Tao. who will be bound by any rules that the Father sets in place to protect those at the meeting. He, as an elemental of the Fae, cannot act directly against the Father's wishes. Me and mine cannot act against the Tao's wishes. I hope that this means we'll be able to continue working peacefully. The beginning of a partnership to protect the forest. But I want to see Renault dead for what he's done to me.
Trust me, I understand what it means to be cast out and to be marked.
You do, don't you?
Revenge isn't always the best.
I will go, but I will not travel with you. I have a few things of my own to do before the date. Will you mark on the map where it is? And she gestures to the map in front of her.
Yeah. And I'll
Deliberately, like where you know where they are, when she gestures to the map, she deliberately like pushes some papers around to cover a couple different locations, but it's all stuff that you saw. It's like true, it's like locations of her scouts and stuff like that. But you'd already picked that up.
Yeah, and I'll mark on the map where it is. And
I kind of had hoped that you would join us sooner, but I suppose different paths were laid out for you. You are welcome to stay in the camp for tonight. My men won't harm you. I still hope that if talks break down, that you choose this side. But for now, we're not enemies. That makes us friends. So, we have wine, we have food, we have shelter.
Relton immediately tries to pull wine out of the air.
It does not.
He
Yeah,
just
Father
looks
did better.
insane. Just
Father had it so you could pull it right out of the air. I'm just saying.
I look more forward to this meeting then. And she kind of walks out of the camp, and she turns and she goes, "By the way, Kaya, I believe, this is what happens when you leave an ironwood to the end of its own life." And she gestures behind you to the giant white tree that seems to be a living tree, but about 30 feet up the trunk. It is an incredibly large tree. You see, like the resting face, arms crossed, a dryad who just looks to be sleeping, just kind of up, kind of half phased, mostly phased into the tree. From the tree, there are fruits and birds and different animals and things like that. It is just like a bountiful tree of life. And that is kind of seeping into the ground around it. And it takes millennia to reach this point.
Look, I didn't mean to offend when I said what I said. But what I mean is, I don't think a fair trade is to be enslaved.
You can only ask for fair trades and compromises for so long. When the line is drawn, I hope we stand on the same side. But if not, I'll make it quick. She winks at you.
Makes me feel so much better.
Is there
Uh,
like anything separating us from this ancient tree, this dryad?
No, her tent was built is put together like at its base.
Can I like just walk up and like just touch the tree?
Yeah.
Does it feel like an ironwood tree?
It does. It has that hard metal kind of bark edged feeling. But you can see now that you're closer to it, the leaves and everything coming off of it. Pure white, where the ironwood trees, the leaves were like razor sharp metal discs. They become much softer, like the leaves and the ends of the branches where you see the most of the animals on are soft, willowy, like the iron quality seems to be receding from higher up on the tree.
Are they reminiscent of the large guardian figures that we saw in Father's Domain?
No, these ones seem to be
A little different.
Yeah.
Okay. Just give kind of like a impressed nod and go back and join the group.
Meet up. She leads you to camp. You're able to camp and sleep and talk to other followers in the camp as you'd like.
Could I
Yeah, otherwise,
just asking around, see if we can find somebody that was from Aldenstead?
yeah. There is a sec. Um, Sorry, trying to get my
No worries.
list of names.
While you're doing that, Kaya is going to actually go looking for the guy that he broke out of the chains.
Okay.
Elrond.
Yeah. No, Elron. Not Elrond.
Oh,
Elron.
Elrond.
No,
Sorry.
no D.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah. Raven asks around.
going?
You find a dwarven man who's introduced to you as Baron. Is from Aldenstead. Yeah. But that would be me. Oh, I'm apparently more at home in the forest now than I was in the mines. What can I do for you? What do you want to know?
Just, we're trying to get a better understanding of how these leaders work in each of these areas. And just want to know what we're walking into if we were to go there.
You'd be walking into the damn hornet's nest if you were. There's two gals that are in command currently. They go by the names of Eva and Arya. And they're running the show, as it were. Every now and then there's another lady that shows up, but pretty infrequently. She seems too important for the likes of us. She sent those two fucking sisters to take care of the day-to-day. Yeah, as far as I understand, though, you don't really have to worry about Aldenstead. The Dow has been taking a personal interest in their minds, and so they'll be driven off soon enough, I hope.
I see. How long were you there?
So I was working out as a tanner for him for probably the last 2 years. So I've been here in camp for probably a month and a half or so.
Eva and Arya been there the whole time?
They showed up pretty recently. There was some aristocrat Boy Scout that they had before, but he got eaten by a pack of wolves. Weak son of a bitch. And that's when the sisters showed up.
I see. And you don't really believe there's any chance of peace with them, do you?
Yes. There's always a chance of peace with Nobrand. You surrender, you give up your land, your holdings, your properties, and then you're at peace with Nobrand. That or you're a corpse. There's peace there too, where they are. We are. It's really weird figuring out nationalities now that we're all here. From the outside, it's really easy to see the kind of really the quality of country I was coming from. Man.
Well, thank you. I hope you've enjoyed your time here. It looks like a great place.
Yeah, that's a dwarf in the forest. It's everybody's idea of a good time. Sits back and just starts kind of whittling it. A piece of wood.
You'll come to love it.
I'm sure. Kaya, you went looking for Elron, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, he is back at the front gate. Right. That's. Sorry that was so fast paced, but I owe you a thank you. I think it sounds like.
Oh. Thank yous all and well, but I'm actually looking for a little bit of information. If you have it.
I'll tell you what I can.
So, first things first, were you taken to this Tao? Were you enslaved, or?
Each of us were. That's. But it's better to be a servant to a Tao who's not too bad once you get used to him than it is to die alone in the forest.
Well, I just got my freedom back. I'm not so keen to give it up so quickly.
We're all chained one way or another. Mine's a little bit more magical, less metaphorical or literal, but we all have them.
So, we were told that you were exiled because you were giving information to Aldenstead?
Yeah, that's. He looks around and goes, "We try not to talk about the reasons we were exiled too much, but
Sorry.
It's fine. You know that you're traveling with the heir apparent of the Nalbrun throne.
Recently, yes.
That's. Well, if I hadn't gotten caught, there's a pretty big reward for any information about her specifically.
Is that what you were trying to get back to Aldenstead?
It was. I did. I got set up in the return message that was supposed to come to me, found its way into Renault's hands, and that's how I was caught. I'd watch out. She makes dangerous company. But the people after her,
Well, we all do sometimes.
yeah. Is that all you wanted to know? Just.
Well, kind of. I mean, what is Aldenstead? What's their deal? And I'm assuming I'm going to hear the same story we just heard.
Yeah, and just to put it in plainer terms, Aldenstead has been mining, like deep surface mining for like rare ores and materials that have been causing problems with the Fae and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's their thing.
Okay. Well, I know it wasn't much, but hopefully it made it a little easier for you to find your peace, I guess.
It's It's better than what I had. Back at Harlan's Landing, we were all kind of living in fear as to what lived in the forest. Here we live in peace with it. It's quiet up
Yes,
here.
peace. Peace is peace, even if it's forced.
It's what most of us came here for.
Well, I'm not going to keep you from your duties much longer. I'll get out of your hair.
You rest easy. Let me know if I can do anything for you.
I can certainly try.
And Orelton or Vala?
Vala's gonna see if she can have an aside with Mithril.
Why?
Yeah, Mythalai.
Mithril, thank you.
Yeah, it's
Mithril,
pretty
it's the
easy.
same. Mithril.
She's came out with you and grabbed a drink from one of the followers in the camp, and so she's pretty easy to pull to the side.
But it's gonna without anybody else in the party seeing her.
Yeah,
So
seeing it.
that gonna
Okay,
yeah. So I don't want any of my party to know that I'm talking with her.
Well,
Okay,
then it's
so-
probably important to know that Relton's going to see if he can't scale the thumb, and he's going to just sit and study the dryad and mold around the head of the mace and just think. So if I can see Mythalai's tent, that might be important.
So depending, because the thumb is around, you actually probably climbing up on that probably have a pretty obscured view, and especially where they're not at the tent, they're like down around the campfires and stuff.
Okay. Never mind.
And the thumb is like Titanic. The creature that has to have been attached to this hand was probably could have had a city on his shoulders kind of size.
That big.
Like this is
So if I was on top of the thumb, I'd probably be over the tree.
the thumb itself probably brings you up that 50-foot point where you're probably pretty close to even with the dryad's face actually.
That's where I want to be.
Yeah. This is a Titanic statue of some kind. Which, yeah, with Raven looking for Baron, Kaioff talking to Elrin, I would say it's probably pretty easy for Vala to get a quick aside in with Mythalai without anybody really being able to tell. Unless any of you want to make a perception check versus a stealth check.
Nope.
Okay.
Mithril, I just wanted to let you know that if the opportunity arrives to deliver Renault to you, I will not stand in your way.
I appreciate that. That's really what I was hoping to get out of the deal.
I won't say I will aid, but I will not stop.
I'm happy with that deal. I wouldn't seek your aid in taking him out. I wouldn't hire you as assassins. Like I said, when the line is drawn, I hope that you're on our side. I'll make it quick for your friend, but I'll try just to stay away from you. Hopefully we don't all have to kill each other after all this.
Hopefully.
I appreciate it, though. That's it.
Just gonna
We are
go out.
speeding things up a little bit because it'll take you another day to get back. So you sleep tonight. If there's anything you want to do, Mithlai leaves camp early in the morning, and goes off. Is there anything you wanted to do the night before?
I mean, is it based on the map? Can we kind of tell how long it would take to get to Aldenstead from the camp?
If you want to go to Aldenstead, let me pull up my map. That, especially going through areas you haven't been before, would actually probably be a good week or so.
Okay.
To make it all the way to Aldenstead.
Just want to make sure it wasn't reachable in our timeline that we had.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I doubt think you'd be able to. But yeah, so that, and then from the camp, traveling back to Harlan's Landing, or is there anything else you wanted to knock out? Because Harlan's Landing is going to be the closest point to the meeting spot.
We decided we weren't gonna approach Nalburn about this, huh? Especially not with money on Vala's head.
I think that's
We can't
best.
make it there.
Yeah.
And then I am going to bring up to Vala about Eva and Arya running Aldenstead.
It's not surprising. That's sort of the job, but it's good to know that they have more hold in the city than I might have expected.
And also, that guy that I released was pretty adamant on getting information about you and did. So that's how they knew you were here.
He was just doing his job. He didn't know.
No. He knew, but
Well,
it is what it is.
he couldn't have guessed what Terra would have done.
Either way.
Thank you for
But,
letting.
right.
Okay. We're going to, I think, wrap up there with you guys making Camp Mythalize in the morning, getting ready to set out. And I can't wait to see all of y'all next video. Next time we come out with this.
Next video.
This is next video. I almost said next time, but we don't know what next time is. The next time on Easy Dispel. You're immediately going to hear that come back. But hey, thank you so much for joining us. Again, thank you to Syrinscape. Epic Games need epic sounds, and our stream needs a better DJ. Add so much. Another huge shout out to Rep RPG for an incredible amount of support they've shown us just for us participating in their PvP league. It was a ton of fun. We just came out of the finals. You probably know this because you probably heard about us through that. We did not win, unfortunately. We came close, made it to the semifinals, got beat by the Hands, Rep RPG's own team. Wouldn't want to be beat by anybody else. Other than maybe our other shout out, Wicked Game RPG on Twitch, Wicked Game on YouTube. They were fantastic. They David and I got beat by the Hands. Will and I got beat by Wicked Game.
Yep.
Two best teams in the league I would have wanted to lose to.
Best set of Brits to lose to.
Technically, the only two teams we lost to.
Yeah.
We just lost to one of them.
And the champions, but
And the champions. But that's NPC team. But again, hey, we'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much. You spell with 2 L's because we're done. Bye. Next time on Easy Dispel.
I just want to see if I can open the coffin or the tomb.
It just catches and then slides out of place. There is not a body. There's not a floor. There is a set of stairs that descend into a spiral staircase. As you proceed into the room, the door itself, as you have now gotten closer, there's a large inscription over it. The inscription above reads, "The door lies open to those with wisdom and restraint."
you could just try to open the door. I mean, maybe it's talking about not drinking the stuff or taking anything.
I'll watch as Kaya just really intensely starts focusing on the door. The door just swings open, slamming to the side. As you step kind of across the thresholds, there's a brazier on each side that spring to life. Around the circular room, fires all spring up.
Vala is gonna go up to right in front of this statue and like grab her emblem and start trying to commune with Leora.
I'm quite connected here. And you all hear this as you travel with one of Galway's own. He is entitled to, perhaps, an inheritance.
We're not gonna talk about the creepy voice that's emulating from. All right, cool. Yep, let's go.
As energy
Fucking
just
around.
arcs from the statue, and she goes, "You would call a deity creepy in one of her places of worship. Be gone from here, creature of shadow and night. And David is thrown from the room.
Kaya, noticing the person playing the lute, kind of gives a nod to his friends that he sees at the bar, and then immediately locks eyes on this person with the lute. My name is Kaya.
Pleasure to meet you, Kaya. She holds out her hand. They call me Finn.